and welcome to another beautiful day to be reviewing some top headlines on the newspaper front page as well as tech stories that are driving in our world today. I am with Barrister, I'm not alone. Barrister, good morning. How are you doing?
Doing very well.
How has been your week from Monday till today?
Awesome.
Splendid week. Barrister is making money now. Barrister is making money and he has not paid his tithe. Barrister has not paid his tithe. But anyway, welcome to all our viewers out there. This is your newspaper review on MIDDAY television. We begin with the front page of the Punch newspaper, where we see displaced Borno residents recounts Boko Haram's invasion in page 2. You also see beside it that World Bank dismisses Nigerian single-digit inflation target in page 29, and how Abbas invasion stalled minority leaders' impeachment in page 28. We also see the big headline that counts down to 2027, Tinubu to pick a new INEC chair this week in page 2. And Science Minister Naji resigns over alleged certificate forgery in page 28. Beneath it, we see police pensioners rallies for protests after talk collapses in page 22, and cultists kill 4 in Lagos State, Ogun State communities in page 4 and 5 of that newspaper. And the last headline on that front page is Tinubu access to National Assembly bills over policy clash. Now we'll be moving into the big headline where we see Tinubu to pick new INEC chair this week. We see that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is expected to announce a new chairman for Nigerian Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, this week, following the formal exit of Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, whose 10-year tenure has come to an end. Yakubu officially handed over May to Senior National Commissioner and legal expert, who will serve as acting capacity pending the appointment of the substantive successor. In the resignation of Yakubu's service, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu awarded him with national honor of Commander of the Order of the Niger. We also see that Yakubu's tenure, which began in 2015, was marked by major electoral reform, including the introduction of the bimodal voters accreditation system, BVAS, and INEC results viewing portal, IRVs, aimed to improving transparency and credibility in elections. Under his leadership, INEC expanded polling units nationwide, strengthened voters' registration, and introduced the provision for persons with disabilities and internally displaced persons to vote. However, his term was not without controversies. The 2023 general election was marred by technical hitches and allegations of bias from political actors. As such, the new INEC boss begin. The legal experts and political observers are divided over presidential power to appoint Yakubu's new successor. That is a very, very big story on the front page of the Punch newspaper. That was on, I think this week we've been talking mainly on this particular story, right from Monday till now. And as at yesterday, so many opposing parties like Peter Obi and I think even our former president Olusegun Obasanjo came out to even say that they actually are not for the right that the president should keep picking the INEC officers, because they feel like it's will I say a bigger chance for him to win, and knowing that the 2027 election is coming up soon, it's drawing close, of course, it's drawing close, and so many people are wondering if he picks his INEC chairman now, there's every possibility that rigging will be done in the next election.
Yeah, so I'm of the view, as we were discussing even before coming up, which I said that it's not good for the president to be the one picking the INEC chairman, And President Tinubu now going into the next election, definitely you want to pick someone that will be of his own kin, like that will support him, that will assist him in being the. And the way Nigerian politicians are, they are very, very, they are goal oriented. They want someone that will stick with them. Even the person that is being nominated, that is being pushed around, you will see that he has links with President Tinubu. He's most likely going to be from the southwest or if not from the southwest, at least a Yoruba man, either from Kogi or from Kwara, all those kind of things. So you will see that the interest of the president is what's going to be at play. Anytime I discuss picking of the INEC chairman, even before this election cycle is about to start, I've always said it that I feel the judiciary should be the one nominating the INEC chair. The judiciary should be the one nominating the INEC chair, or simply the INEC chairman goes to the rank of INEC. You know, the most important staff of the highest rank staff in INEC becomes the next INEC chairman. Not that the president will pick the INEC chairman. You will see once he picks the INEC chairman, it's the interest of the president he will want to protect. They might even do a mini screening that, oh, will you be the one? So that's most likely what's going to play out. So by the time he's the one picking the INEC chair, you see that the possibility of having a free and fair election in the 2027 election is becoming limited, is becoming shrinked. Yeah, so we have to find a way to re-strategize, probably put a constitution amendment or something where the INEC chairman is being nominated either by the judiciary or it goes through the rank of the INEC, the commission itself. The highest ranked officer there becomes the next INEC chairman. That's my own opinion on this debate.
I was actually driving towards that part you just mentioned briefly about the constitution. Now, this is in the constitution already. It's not something that we just came up and made a decision. It has already been implemented in the constitution of Nigeria that the president is allowed to pick his next INEC chairman. Can it be amended? Can it be taken out? If will I say a large a number of people come out to actually protest or seek for that amendment?
Yeah, so it all boils down to the National Assembly. Like I said, when the president actually nominates, he's being confirmed by the National Assembly. Now, if you want a constitutional amendment, you know, it all boils down to the National Assembly is the one to pass laws.
Okay.
You get? So once the National Assembly passes the law, the amendment law, you get, it still goes back to the president for him to assent. If he doesn't assent, then the National Assembly can veto it. You get? So it's a whole lot of process, but it's about the willingness of the president and the National Assembly members, the honorables and the senators, for them to be able to say, look, this is actually what we want to do in this election cycle. I don't see that happening in the nearest future, though. I don't see any president. Probably is a president that comes and says, look, we need to make this happen. We need to make this work. Maybe when President Tinubu is leaving office, he can then say, okay, let's push for this electoral reform that the president should not be the one to nominate. The INEC chair should come either from the judiciary or from. So it's possible. It's possible. The provisions for constitutional amendments, but it has to be passed in the National Assembly. 70% of the lawmakers have to move for it. Then also the president has to assent. If the president doesn't assent, then the National Assembly move to veto it.
Thank you very much, sir. Moving to the next newspaper front page is the Nation's newspaper, where we see that there's a scheduled flight beginning at Ogun Gateway Airport in page 6 of that newspaper. We also see that Oyedele, 98% of workers have been exempted from pay in page 3. We also see the big headline, one of the big headlines, sorry, federal government to refine expensive debt portfolio, says Odum. And another big headline, certificate scandal, Naji resigns ministerial position. Now moving into that particular news, we see that the Nigerian Minister of Innovation and Science Technology, Uche Naji, has resigned following the allegations that he forged his university and NYSC certificate. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu accepted his resignation on Monday evening, thanking him for his service. The controversies began after an investigative report by Premium Times alleged that Naji submitted fake academic documents during his 2023 ministerial screening. The University of Nigeria Nsukka reportedly disowned the certificate, stating that though Naji was admitted in 1981, he did not graduate. In response, Naji denied the claims, accusing political opponents and university of blackmail. He insisted he earned a degree in microbiology biochemistry and has taken a legal action to compel UNN to release his transcript. Now, this is a story that most of the front page headlines have been moving right from Monday. Now, he came out of no, he yes, people came out to talk about his certificate. Now, the funny thing about this particular story is the fact that, according to the constitution, for getting a ministerial position, you do not necessarily need a university certificate.
Yes.
You just need an SSE certificate, and which was provided and which is legit. So why then forge a certificate? But after all of this, he said that they are not correct. He said the alleged accusation was not correct, but he resigned. He's just pushing a note that what you are saying,
Is not.
I don't want to be the one to say, but
Yeah, so the resignation could actually be maybe the president told him to resign, and just leave it, just so you go and sort out your issues.
issue with that.
But like you stated, it's just a secondary school certificate that you need, probably SSE certificate you need to become a minister in this country. So it then begets the question: what happened in 2023 for me? When you were going through the DSS
Yes.
screening, I mean, you are being screened by the DSS. The DSS is the number one or one of the biggest intelligence agencies in Nigeria. We are being screened by the DSS. Is it that the DSS didn't do their work effectively? How were you able to pass through the screening of the DSS? How were you able to pass through the screening of National Assembly, Senate, if you actually forged the certificate? These are the issues that we need to be looking at as Nigerians. How was a person who forged his certificate able to become a minister of the Federal Republic? Like you said, it's just SSCE that you need. But because of the position of a minister, especially the position of Minister of Science and Innovation and Technology, you need someone with a bright mind or a brilliant mind to actually be the minister. And for the funniest part is, I've not even seen the work of this our able minister. I don't hear him, I don't see him do anything or anything. This alleged forgery, I just want to take it that, like he said, maybe it's political witch hunt or something. I don't know who is witch hunting him. Is he going for governorship that they are trying to witch hunt him?
No, he came out and was speaking against the present Enugu governor before, I think that was 2023 election, that his own certificate was forged, and most of the that's why most of this issue now opened to this extent.
Yes.
But I understand the fact that you're saying wasn't there a proper screening done.
Yeah.
But you would agree with me that when it comes to screening in Nigeria, we see so many faults or excuses being given by most of these officials for the screening that has been done. Maybe because of the fact that they went there and they screened it. During the time they screened it, the school came out to say yes, he was actually a student. But because of maybe so many people have come out with evidence that this man is not a student, the school turns out to say no, he's not a student.
You see, that shows the anyhowness of our country. It shows the anyhowness of our country. During the screening process, probably like you said, they must have asked the school that, oh, we have issues with this certificate. The school might have said,
have paid somebody.
Yes, so it just shows the anyhowness of Nigeria itself. Where you have a system where anything goes, anything can happen. I am a lawyer. I don't want a situation where somebody in future will say, oh, that certificate is not real. Then the school will now be saying that, oh yes, it's true, because someone has paid somewhere, somebody has paid some monies to some persons. The anyhowness of the Nigerian system calls into play here now, because he is saying that it's a political witch hunt.
Yes.
And when I was even reading the article on Premium Times, they seem to have a lot of evidence to show that this guy actually might not have graduated. That's from my own angle,
Yes.
He was sending messages to the school's registrar, the UNN, as at 1986, trying to receipt one more paper and all of that, So when you delve deep into these things, you will see that it probably might be true that he didn't get the certificate. It's probably, but I'm not a judge. He's going to take the matter to court. The court is the one that is going to rule on it. He's probably maybe a PhD holder now, or maybe a master, because he must have used that his certificate to apply to other schools and other. So he's asking for his transcript. Let the school provide his transcript. If the school provides his transcript, then we'll know how to view this whole situation. But it calls into question, like I said, the Nigerian system. Someone became a minister, passed through one of the supposedly rigorous screening to become a minister. And this certificate forgery is coming into play. No, it's something that we have to look into and get our system right.
Okay. We're moving into the Guardian newspaper front page. We see that Senate seeks 10-year passport ban for Nigerian convicted abroad in page 3 of that newspaper. We also see that there's a new tax law exempting over 90% of Nigerians from payee, says Oyedele in page 3, and an alleged genocide as we urge Trump to designate Nigeria country for particular concerns in page 3. We also see the big headline that anxiety lingers over insecurity fate of displaced persons, and beside it we see that there's an Abbas Abia lawmaker clash over Namdi Kalu's health condition in page 4, and Natasha returns to Senate after 6 months suspension. The news that in page 26. And power generation offtake drops by 5% as Discos loses 58 billion naira in page 15. Tinubu shares political baggages has embattled Minister Niges resign in page 6 of that newspaper. Now moving to the big headline in page 6. We see that anxiety lingers over insecurity fate of displaced person. The Nigerian North Central region is in crisis as violence, kidnapping, and commercial clashes continue to devastate communities across Benue, Plateau, Niger State, Kwara State, Nasarawa State, leaving thousands dead and millions displaced. According to the news, we see that 6,800 people have been killed in Benue and 2,600 in Plateau within 4 years, while more than 2,400 lives have been lost in Niger State since 2021. Armed groups continues to raid villages, destroy farmland, kidnap residents, and ransoms, cutting off across agricultural areas and worsening food shortage. The issue of insecurity in Nigeria has been, will I say, lingering for over a long time now. We've been speaking about insecurity in Nigeria. I think that was on Monday. Some generals came together and said they wanted a state of emergency. That is a serious situation that we must actually really look into. And yesterday we saw another news that the president had called some governors as well as other sitting ex-presidents together to actually talk about the insecurity issues we have been facing in Nigeria. Now, my issue is we've always had meetings like this before now. Before this year. Last year we had so many meetings like this. But we've not seen any, will I say, proper improvements. Listing this kind of, will I say, mentioning these numbers is reoccurring again in newspaper headlines, again and again. 2 people missing, 4 people missing, 4 people kidnapped, 5 found dead, and all of that. And like we always say, these are deaths that can be avoided and things that can actually be properly controlled. But why is it that we've not been able to control them?
You see, this goes to, I mean, you are mentioning thousands. We are mentioning thousands of people dying.
In one state, not in Nigeria.
In one state. We are not in civil war. I mean, we call this, you know, the issue with Nigeria that I have with is our leaders don't seem to have the willingness to solve our issues, our problems. They are not, I sometimes I wonder the kind of interest these people have. This issue is not an issue of rocket science to me. I've always said it. Leadership is not rocket science. Our leaders don't seem to have the political will or courage. They are not really interested in solving these issues. These killings and all of that, they know the people that are in charge. It's just that maybe it benefits them in a certain kind of way. Because you can't have this number of persons being killed and you are happy sitting down as a governor, as the president, as the leader. I mean, you should have remorse. If I was the president, those states, especially Kwara now, if you see the number of persons being killed in Kwara State now, you just wonder, why can't you declare the whole place a state of emergency? Let soldiers go and take over that state and for maybe 6 months they clear all those places. Let me tell you, if this issue of insecurity moves into states like maybe it enters Abuja and start kidnapping people in Maitama, you will see the swift nature of how these people will respond. I remember one time when insecurity was almost reaching the Nigerian law school in Buhari. Yeah, they sent the guards brigade to law school, to the forest, to the bushes in law to go and clear the bandits there because their children were in law school. Their children were there. They didn't want insecure. So that means there's a political will that these people lack. They feel it's ordinary Nigerians that is being affected by this thing. And what's going on? Nigeria, 70% of the small arms in West Africa is in Nigeria. Millions of arms. Nigeria. Who brings... You will see people who come from Niger, people who come from... To come and do kidnapping in Nigeria. Nigeria is a fertile ground. Nigeria is a booming zone for kidnapping. You see, these are the things our leaders need to look. How can you govern a place where that is not secured? Kwara State, Niger State, everybody has been complaining. You have some headers who move around with guns. I can't imagine. You are using gun to guard cow. Is cow more important than the citizens? So these are the questions. My own is just the willingness of the Nigerian leaders to actually solve this situation. And that's the thing. That's why we keep on talking and there's no solution. Because after all is said and done, there was one time they sent the Minister of Defense to go to some of these states. He went there, he came back, nothing. So there's no willingness. That's just what I'll say. Okay,
so let's move to the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, where we see INEC Yakubu processes on terminal leave, and we also see the new tax regime. Federal government targets relief for 98% of workers in page 6, and Osun local government funds Supreme Court reverses judgment in state suit against AGF in page 4, and the certificate scandal Uche in page 3. Niger resigns as minister. Naji. And in health, we see that the CDC ends universal recommendation for COVID-19 vaccines. We see that the CDC, that's the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, has officially dropped its universal COVID-19 vaccine recommendations, shifting instead to a personal choice approach. Under the new guidance of Americans are encouraged to discuss the risk and benefits of their doctors before deciding whether to get vaccinated. Now, I wanted you to lay a comment on this particular issue of vaccines, because at one point I'm seeing that we still have issues of COVID-19 patients in the that are coming up in the world. I don't want to say in the country, and we are taking away the vaccination and putting it on choice. Of course, you know that it's not everybody that get vaccinated that even know that they actually have, or they find that have COVID-19 that actually know that they actually have this before it emerges to a point where it becomes so obvious and you have to go to the hospital to check. And before it gets to that point, of course, you would have passed it from one person to another. But like I said, I just wanted you to lay comment on it. Okay,
let me start this way. You know, I really don't know how the COVID-19 pandemic ended in the world. I think it was at the beginning of Russia-Ukraine war that everybody just forgot about COVID-19. So I don't know how did it end. I'm trying to fathom how did the pandemic actually end. And so to me, this a lot of questions are being raised in my mind, very controversial questions as to what COVID-19 actually is. Like you noted, there are still people that suffer
from this disease.
Suffer from this disease, COVID-19 disease. We still hear of some cases around the world and all of that, you know. And now the CDC coming out to say, that's the American Center for Disease Control, coming out to say you don't need to be show a vaccination card or something in order for you to move around, in order for you to travel. It raises also a lot of questions, because there was a point in this time where everybody was being forced to take the vaccine. Everybody in this world was forced to, you couldn't move, you couldn't do anything without a COVID-19 vaccine. Now the world has moved on to the extent where they are even saying you don't even need vaccine to travel, to do anything again. So it raises a lot of controversial questions that I wouldn't want to raise on air. You know, it just bothers that was COVID-19, what was actually COVID-19? How did we solve this COVID-19 issue? Because not everybody took the vaccine, and yet we don't have pandemic again, moving around. So what changed? How did the story change? You get? So these are the questions that we also need to ask. For me here as a Nigerian, vaccination, I know Nigeria we don't really do vaccinations like that again. We are not really. So me, yeah, I'm just okay. If I want to travel now, I know that I don't need the vaccination card for to go to the US and all of that. You know? So there are questions that I actually have in my mind, but I wouldn't want to raise it. That'll just be my comments on this.
Okay, we'll be going on a short break. When we come back, we'll be looking into our tech news.
Energy and manufacturing leading the way.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is your newspaper review on Idea Television. We were looking through some newspaper headlines, and now we'll be diving into our tech news. So we'll be diving into the two tech news, then I would have you lay comment on it, Barrister. Okay, the first tech news, we see that Toyota test drones technology to aid off-road vehicles navigation. We see that a Japanese automaker Toyota Motor Corporation is exploring the use of small drones to assist drivers in navigating off-road and unpaved trains area, according to the filing from the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration. This experimental drone system aims to enhance a situational awareness by providing aerial views of vehicle surroundings and helping drivers to detect hazard and plan safer routes, and also improve on how they move in rough environments. The drones would typically operate close to the vehicles, but occasionally fly above treetops and map the area as well as the terrain to aid navigation. Now, that's the first tech news. Now, the second tech news is on Kenya's 855 million deal to boost defense cybersecurity. Now, Kenya has set a blood start of its digital defense through a new cybersecurity partnership with a Romanian-based Safe Innovation, a global firm that operates in the UK, US, and UAE. The collaboration, announced after the visit by the Information and Digital Economic Cabinet Secretary Williams Kabogo Gauta, focuses on cybersecurity capacity building, knowledge exchange, and also piloting advanced digital protection tools. This Sketch Computers emergency response team model is expected to inspire Kenya's effort to enhance national cyber resilience. Now, these particular two tech news are very important tech news. The first one is an innovation that we've always been waiting for. Now, driving cars, how will I say, I think more of innovation has been coming when it comes to cars, and improvements have been done. Now, you cannot drive alone. I think there was an auto helper for driving some cars. I think the Benz car, or I've forgotten, the BMW car. A news came out for that. And now there's a new one for Toyota. So you can have a drone flying above you, trying to sketch the area, especially if you are in a deserted area or bushy areas where you can't even see your front, or you can't see ahead of you. Or you can't see maybe a waterfall ahead of you and you're going and you just move until you get to that point. Now, this drone helps you to actually take a look into the area. So you can be in your car and just see how your area and environment looks like. It also helps in security. I see this from a security point of view. Now, that's the first tech news. The second tech news is on Kenya. We've been having issues with cyber security from Kenya, and when it comes to data privacy and all of that, we've seen so many issues, not just from Kenya, from so many countries around. And now Kenya has decided to buy or take partnership with an outside country that's from Romania. That's a Romanian country. And my own take from this particular or my own point of view from this particular news is the fact that they are taking it from an outsider. There are so many things that so many questions that can be asked, and so many glitches that can happen when it comes to when it reaches the point where it's an outsider that is controlling your cybersecurity, the cyberspace of your country. When it comes to security point of view, and it just shows that this is an opening for them. I can't imagine. I just want to imagine US trying to buy or take partnership with a Chinese company. But anyway, let me hear what you have to say.
Yeah. So starting from the last point that you just raised, the Kenyan collaboration with the Romanian, like I always say, the collaboration is always needed in tech when it comes to, you don't have everything, you need to collaborate, maybe someone will bring in technology that you don't have, especially here in Africa, where we don't really have much technological know-how yet. God's grace, maybe we are going to get there soon. So you will see that most African nations will need to partner with foreign nations in order for them to have advanced tech. You see in space technology, in normal innovation, because we are not there yet. So you see us partner. Now, but the issue that you raised is also very, very important. We've seen when nations partner with outside nations for advanced technology, and it will come to hurt them in the long run, because your top secrets are being held outside of your space, you know. In this instance now, Romania, you get. So once you are partnered with a Romanian security firm, the country that is hosting this technology will need to be very, very careful. You will need to pay particular attention to the kind of technology you are receiving. You yourself will need to assure yourself and be secured in the fact that they won't steal your secrets as well. You know, they won't steal your data privacy, they won't steal your data, your anything that has to do with your space. Yeah, so you will have to be very, very careful. But like I said, collaboration is needed. Africa is not there yet in terms of technology, in terms of cybersecurity. We'll still need, in fact, I've seen some of our advanced tech guys, they will have to go abroad to go and study and come back, you know. So we just have to reach a point whereby we have everything. You know, it's just like the Chinese now. The Chinese have reached a point whereby in terms of technology, they almost have everything. You can never see here of the Chinese people going to get cybersecurity experts from outside the country or no, they will always want to maintain their own standards. So Africa needs to reach that point as well. Now, moving on to the first story about Toyota, it's a very good one. It's needed here in Nigeria. And thank God that we are Toyota users. A lot of Toyota vehicles are in Nigeria. We are Toyota users. So it's a good technology. Rather than, you know, when you're in travel, you can just use your drone to see ahead of you if there's hold up somewhere, you know, because sometimes Google Map will tell you that there's hold up somewhere, but it will last only like 6-7 minutes. When you use your drone, you will say, no, this one, it will not last 6-7 minutes, or this one will last 30 minutes. You can use another route. So you also know what's ahead of you. Probably you are traveling, and maybe there's in this Nigeria now, kidnappers are everywhere. Maybe there's a kidnapping incident going on. Your drone will be able. So these are the kind of technology that we want to be seen. The innovation, the brilliance. It will help a lot of us, especially us here in Nigeria. It will help a lot of us. So it's a good one from Toyota. They should keep on improving and keep on innovating. This is why I just like the technological space. There's a lot of innovation that is being, every day you hear of something new coming up. And once this innovation comes into place and Toyota begins to bring those kind of vehicles, you see that a lot of people will actually need this. I just hope and pray that they will be affordable for Africans to be able to purchase.
To actually purchase, yes.
Yeah, so that because us here, 2025 Toyota now is $1 million. So maybe this one is for 2026 Toyota Camry and all of that. So hopefully it gets to Africa soon enough so that it will also make us more security conscious and all. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Barrister, for coming on the show with us. Yeah. Thank you all to all the viewers out there. Do stay tuned to this particular station because we're bringing you more innovative program after now. Bye for now. Stay safe, stay informed.
Yes.